And a very good morning, late tea time podders around the world. Morning in the UK, anyway, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully, you are happy and well. And it is James, as always, and it is DT with me, as always. I was nearly always. Anyway, you missed a couple of days of the Open coverage, but it was a tremendous tournament in the end, DT, looking back at the 4 days at Royal Troon, and a worthy winner in Xander Schauffele, who you tipped up after round 2 and round 4.
Yeah, it was nice to see him win. I think he fully deserved it. He was the one, said ahead of round 4, he's the one who just looks in control of everything, and he absolutely played out, didn't it, that way on the Sunday. Really good tournament, really good course. The kind of weather was perfect in that not perfect if you're a spectator, obviously, but perfect in terms of testing them and all those sort of things you want in an Open where you're not just playing a course on the computer game, you're playing the elements as well. So, yeah, it was a really good week, that.
He seems like a really nice bloke as well, Xander Schauffele. There's not too many, I can't think of anything to dislike him for. And if we kind of throw ahead just a little bit, he's defending Olympic champion at Paris 2024, and he'd struggle to find a reason to back against him to retain that trophy, the gold medal.
Yeah, it's another string to his bow, and probably winning that gold medal probably helped him win his 2 majors this year, because he was sort of struggling to get over the line. I think that was like a step in majors. That was like a stepping stone, winning the gold medal. And he's the man in form, isn't he, at the moment? So you'd probably, if they were teeing off tomorrow, or it's not long to the Olympics, you'd probably back him ahead of Scotty Scheffler at the minute.
Saw that with Andy Murray in the tennis, who won the Olympic gold and then won Wimbledon at the same venue. And Xander Schauffele is kind of following the same path. And good luck to Andy Murray, by the way. His final appearance on a tennis court will be at the Olympics. But anyway, today we are looking ahead to the 3M Open. I'll scroll on the bottom of the screen the leading leaders in the markets. Tony Finau, favourite at 12-1. You got Akshay Bhatia at 20-1. Sam Burns is the same price. Sahith Theegala, 22s. Billy Horschel, who did so well at the Open as well, 28-1. Luke Clanton's 28s. Tom Hoagie is 33s, as is JT Poston. And the rest are bigger, DT. We come as late as possible. We're very early today, but it's still late in terms of the week, to try and get the latest information, the latest facts and figures, etc., from the course. How are we looking ahead of the 3M Open?
Yeah, so we've got all the interviews in that I've been reading. So just to quickly run you through some of those. So these are the guys who they've called into the interview room this week. Troy Merritt, he's the local guy. They're in a place called Blaine, Minnesota. So Troy Merritt is a local, but his form is no good really, and he's only played well in this tournament once, 2019. So it's not, there is the local angle, but he's not backing it up. There's no other reason to back him either. Keegan Bradley, they've interviewed, the new US Ryder Cup captain, but slightly seems that his head is in that role at the minute. You saw him sort of stay on and congratulate Xander Schauffele, kind of one of my boys kind of thing. And I think he's just kind of, maybe he'll come back, but at the moment his head looks a bit kind of into his new role. He's not been playing that great either, and he talked about having quite a bit of jet lag, so he's not one that jumps out. Lee Hodges, the defending champion, they interviewed him. Obviously, won by 7 shots last year, but this made me laugh as a word you don't hear too often. They said, "How's your form?" And he said, "It's crummy."
Right? Yeah.
Not a word I've heard for a while. So he's not too thrilled with his play right now. And then they've interviewed Billy Horschel as well, who was brilliant, as you said, in the Open. I mean, he played well enough to win, didn't he? He did nothing wrong at all. He just ran into a guy in Schauffele playing at the peak of his powers. So Horschel, they did ask him, did you consider pulling out this week? Because obviously, he was under the gun at Royal Troon and could be a bit jet lagged. There's big events coming up, and he went, not at all. If I'm entered into something, I see it through. But I was just looking at his record. This year, after he's played well, the week after, he's not played well at all. It just puts me off a little bit with him.
So he's the anti-Stuart Sink.
Yes, basically, yeah. He's kind of does well in a major, and then because he's hardly ever had a top 10 in a major. He did have one earlier this year, 8th at the PGA, but then he was 24th the week after, which is okay, but you don't really get paid out for 24th, do you? So,
yeah. I mean, Billy Horschel won't be skint by any means, will he? But he'll have picked up a decent check at Troon, won't he, for coming in as high as he did. So it kind of takes the pressure off a little bit. He'll get like ranking points and
he's qualified for all the sort of things that you need to qualify. He's through to the playoffs, and he'll be all the way through in those. I mean, he did used to be a player in the past where once he got hot, he stayed hot. But I think that might have worn off a little bit. So I'm not rushing to back him, but the one I am rushing to back, and it does seem obvious, but because he's the favourite and he's won before. But Tony Finau, can't get past him this week, and when you read his interview, it's like really kind of strong, really strong. So he says he loves this place, his family loves this place, and for him, there's quite a big Finau entourage. He's got quite a lot of kids that come along, so they love to come to this course. It all gives him that sense of kind of comfort and everything. Yeah, they go fishing. They're just he's kind of like the star man in this tournament. He's got a win, a third, and a seventh down the years. He was in brilliant form before the Open. Missed the cut in the Open, but he talked about that and he said, and I buy into this in terms of jet lag, which way you get it. He says, I have a lot easier time adjusting when I come back to the States. It's a lot harder for me to fly over to Europe. It seems like my jet lag is pretty severe. So when he comes east from America, he does struggle, and that's I would back that up. Coming back from America is awful for jet lag.
I think that's the same with me. When I've been to UAE and stuff, and you go right on the map, I find it harder to acclimatise than when I've gone kind of the American way.
Yeah. So he backs it up. So he said, he says, I just feel a lot better about myself this week. I always do when I come back from the States, so to the States. So it's all there for him. He's got the course form. He was in brilliant form before the Open. And I just feel that if he'd say like plodded away and finished 10th at the Open, I think he might be a single figure price this week because he's the course form guy and he's in form. But because he missed the cut, but I mean, on that Friday when it was really tough, he was on like the harder part of the draw, so it sort of almost means nothing really. And his Open record has been quite poor in recent times, so I'll ignore that.
Hold your Tony Finau thoughts, then we'll come back with the prices, etc. in a minute. We should introduce one of our new sponsors. We're doing quite well on the Late Tea Time podcast at the moment. The numbers that you're watching with are much appreciated. Loads of people watching throughout the Open. We're trying to steer people towards our YouTube channel as well, and a lot of you watch the video on YouTube because at the moment, Elon Musk, we've applied for our blue tick with Twitter so we can stream live on Twitter, and you haven't given us it yet, so we're basically still very reliant on YouTube. So thank you for moving across to YouTube to watch our stuff there. But we've got a new sponsor, manscaped.com, male grooming, and if you quote late from the Late Tea Time podcast title, if you quote late when you buy your stuff from manscaped.com, you'll get 20% off and you'll get free shipping. Here's a little bit of an advert for them.
Forever you and me, right by my side, where you ought to be. 'Cause if I ever were to lose you, I just don't know what I'd do. Let me hear you now.
Let me hear you now. Manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping if you quote late at checkout.
I like that. It's funny, isn't it? I like that.
Their adverts are actually very good. We'll show you the assortment as we go through the next few weeks, etc. But thank you to manscaped.com for their support of the Late Tea Time podcast. And obviously, don't forget switchwatersupplier.com as well. They are staying on as our sponsor too. Switchwatersupplier.com. We'll show you their advert before we say goodbye to you today. It won't be all adverts, though. There will be picks along the way. And Tony Finau, DT, is your headline pick for this one. And you can get him around about 12 to 1.
Yeah, I think Bet365 have got kind of like a win in their win-only market. You can get 12 to 1. As I say, I think with one good performance last week, he would have been maybe 9 to 1 or so. Because his main rivals in the market, Sam Burns and Billy Horshaw, they were right in the thick of it at Royal Troon. I just think that might just sort of weigh heavily on them a little bit, and this might be a bit of a breathe-out sort of week for them. So, yeah, we're big into Tony this week.
It's the favourites really that you win only markets for, isn't it? Because you won't want to take each way on prices of 12 to 1 and under really. So, and that's the way to kind of get the best price on somebody that you think might actually lift the trophy. So Tony Finau goes on to the late tea time betting slip at 12 to 1. Anything else that strikes your fancy when it comes to the 3M?
Yeah, I've got an ACCA, a 72-hole match bet ACCA, in which Tony Finau's there again. So I'm really jumping all over him this week. So this ACCA, over 72 holes. Leg 1 is Finau to beat Sam Burns, and I've already sort of spoken about the reasons why. I really like Finau. Burns might just take a step back this week.
He fell apart a bit at the Open, didn't he, Sam Burns? He was doing well, and then wheels came off.
80 maybe, in the final round, yeah. Leg 2, I've got Akshay Bhatia to beat Sahith Theegala. Two guys who are kind of rising stars, really, I guess, of the PGA Tour. But I do like Bhatia. He was in brilliant form before coming over to the UK. I expect him to pick that up again. I think he was a little bit kind of that was his first Open. It was a bit kind of new to him. But in the States, on regular PGA courses, which this one is, he's been great. And Theegala, as much as I do like him, he's missed 3 cuts out of 3 at this course. So something's not quite clicking with him there. So, Bhatia is 5 to 6 to win that matchup. Then I talked about a little bit of negative over Keegan Bradley this week. So he's in a match bet with Tom Hoge. So I like Hoge to win this one. Hoge, he's Bradley's got a bit of the jet lag. I think his head's been turned a little bit as well. Bradley's also not really got any course form. Never had a top 30 in a couple of tries. Whereas Hoge's got 3 top 25s at this course, including 4th a couple of years ago. And yeah, Hoge didn't play well in Scotland, but don't need to worry. This is completely different. And before he left for Scotland, he finished 3rd at the Travellers. So I like Hoge to take down Bradley. Hoge is 10 to 11 in that one. And then finally, the final leg is Canadian Adam Hadwin to beat Maverick McNeely. I do like Hadwin this week. You could even look at him in the outrights at kind of 50 to 1, something like that. Load of good course form. He's really good at this sort of test where you need to make loads of birdies. And he's got that pull of trying to make the President's Cup team, which is in his home country of Canada this year. Mike Weir, the captain. So all the Canadians in these kind of late qualifying events are trying their best to get an automatic place. So Hadwin's played well here before. This is his type of test. And McNeely, there's nothing sort of standing out for him to make me think, oh, he's a big threat. I think he's missed his last couple of cuts. So Hadwin at 4 to 5. So that fourfold of Finau, Bhatia, Hoge, and Hadwin, that comes out at Bet365. You could find it better elsewhere, but probably not the same matchups. But it's 9.25 to 1.
9.25 to 1 then for that fourfold of Finau, Bhatia, Hoge, and Hadwin. No M's amongst them, 3 M's, and we haven't gone for a single M. But that is the 9.25 to 1 fourfold. Is that as done for the 3M Open, DT? Because I know there's something else you want to talk about as well.
That's just done for the 3M, yes.
Okay. And we should then say thank you to switchwatersupplier.com for their support of the Late Tea Time podcast as well. If you've got a business and you want to save money on your water bills, they are the people to speak to.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush. For that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supplier can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
Switching made simple with switchwatersupplier.com. Anyway, DT, for once, I think you're going to take us somewhere that we don't usually go.
Live Golf. Live Golf is in the UK this week. I just don't take it into account. It just spoils my research when they don't have the right stats and everything. It's in the UK. I've got a few mates who are going, sort of slightly out of curiosity, because you get this thing, don't you? Where you get kind of the live kind of fanatics will say, "Look at the atmosphere; it was incredible," and then others will say, "Oh no, there are only 5 people there." So
they're like Donald Trump rallies, aren't they? They show the massive crowd, and then when you see the kind of the sort of wider shot, there's nobody else there.
A wide shot. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, UK sports fans tend to be good, don't they? They do flock to big events. Whether this is a big event, who knows? But I've got a couple of mates who are going so that they can report back. But yeah, just from watching the Open, it did look like Jon Rahm is on the brink of winning again very soon. He had that charge in the final round, kind of ran out of gas a little bit. But I thought it was a good week from him, and he's been dropping hints that he's going to win soon. I mean, it's amazing, really. He's not won on the Live Tour so far, given that they've only got to beat a few players. I do talk it down, don't I? Over 54 holes. How hard is that? But most of the better guys have won by now. And Rahm, I think he's had to sort of mentally adjust to what he's doing, because I keep thinking he's got this feeling that he's watching the proper golf, the proper events, and going, I
was about to say, he looks like he's a bit happier. It looks like, at the Open, he looked like he was a bit happier and a bit more settled and content. But was that because he was back amongst his friends, in inverted commas, or was that because he's actually happy with his golf?
Possibly. I mean, there's this theory that he joined Live not because he just wanted to be a sort of disruptor and take the money, but he genuinely thought he could bring it together a little bit more. So I think maybe we need to give him a bit of a pass on that one. I think he thought that at some point the two tours will merge and he might be able to help that. But I think it did take him a while to adjust, just to kind of, what am I doing in this sort of thing? But I think he's getting there. So there's a few ways to play him this week.
Just before you get to the prices, I can't remember if it was Jon Rahm. It was certainly one of the Live golfers. It might have been Rahm, who actually said on one of the interviews, "Oh yeah, I'm loving it this week because I'm actually getting to see a few people that I really miss," or words to that extent. So there is that feeling, I think, that they do feel a little bit fractured away.
Yeah. So there's a few ways to play him. He's just 13-2 to win it, which I think is fine. I mean, there's some good players up against him. You've got DeChambeau, Hatton, Neiman, Garcia, Koepka starts to thin out a bit after that, but yeah, I think he can win. I did notice at Bet365 they've got a special Jon Rahm 22-1 to win wire to wire. Now, obviously in Live, the Roman numerals for Live is 54, isn't it? It means 54. So there are only 54 holes. So winning wire to wire in Live is clearly easier than winning wire to wire over 72 holes. So it's just a little bit better than you might think. So if Rahm can get off to a fast start, he might just stay there. So I thought 22-1 is worth a little go if you're going to have a bet. And then the other one is, I can't help but put Finau and Rahm together in a double. It's just too tempting, isn't it? So if you do that, do you want me to do that live? Yes.
So I'm just sitting here, just sitting here watching you. Very good.
Very good. You're getting sort of over 80-1.
Okay.
You might get it big. That's with Bet365. You might get it bigger elsewhere, but yeah, you're getting 80-1 plus for a round Finau double, which, yes, it means the two favourites win. But if it won, you'd think, wow, what an easy... that was pretty obvious, and you're getting 80 to 1 on a, the price suggests it's a bit kind of slightly fanciful, but it's not, is it? So worth a little go.
I have that feeling every Sunday night. Wow, that would have been obvious when somebody that's 80 to 1 wins. But anyway, the live thing, the Roman numerals, is that why they call it live? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that seems a bit bizarre to kind of to create something which is supposed to be modern and funky and into the future with something from Latin Roman numerals. Yeah.
Yeah, someone will probably say that's not true, but I'm 99% that's why they called it that.
Okay, well, that never had crossed my
I remember sort of finding that out a few months in. I thought, oh right, because I think, well, what was live for otherwise before that? Why? How did they come up with the name? That's why.
I hadn't realised that at all. But anyway, good luck to John Rahm this week. Good luck to Tony Finau this week. Good luck to Finau, Bhatia, Hoagie, and Hadwin in that fourfold 9.25 to 1. And hopefully both of the aforementioned big players win, and we land that 80 to 1 double this week across the Live and the 3M Open. DT, as always, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers, James.
And thank you at manscaped.com, our new sponsors. Quotes late when you check out with Manscaped. Male grooming stuff, very good. Both me and DT own stuff from Manscaped, and it is very good. So quote late when you check out, and you get 20% off and free shipping. And thanks, as always, to switchwatersupply.com for their continued support of the Late Tea Time podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll see you again very soon indeed. Cheers all.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.